are all the ingredients that we require. So let's go through each of them. Here is 1/4 teaspoon or 1/4 teaspoon of peppercorns, 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds or dhania seeds, half a tablespoon of cumin seeds or jeera, 5 pods of elaichi or cardamom, half an inch of cinnamon or dalchini, 6 cloves or lavang, 1 star anise, 1 mace or javitri, 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds or khaskhas, 1/4 teaspoon or 1/4 teaspoon of fenugreek seeds or methi seeds, 1 teaspoon of shaha jeera or black cumin seeds, 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds or saunf, 2 bay leaves or tej patta, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg powder or zaifar. You can just grate it on a small grater. 6 cloves of garlic, half an inch of ginger, and about 6 red chilies. You can even use the Goan red chilies. 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder, half a teaspoon of garam masala, and half a teaspoon of red chili powder. Or you can increase it according to your taste. So these are all the spices that we require. You can even roast them and grind them and keep them aside the day before you plan to make it. Then we require 1 medium onion sliced. We also require 1 small onion diced, 2 light green chilies slit, 1 cup of fresh coconut grated. We also require half a cup of coconut milk and a lime-sized bowl of tamarind soaked in some hot water. And I'm going to be using about 350 grams of chicken. You can make this with beef, with mutton. And like I said, half a cup of coconut milk. So now let's begin with making this amazing shakuti. So in a pan, I've just heated up the pan a bit and I'm going to roast all my dry spices in it. That is the peppercorns, the javitri, the star anise, the poppy seeds, the cardamom, cinnamon, bay leaves. So we're going to roast this on a low to medium flame. And we're going to roast this for just about 5 minutes. And you will get a lovely aroma of these dry spices. Keep stirring, don't leave them unattended. And then once they have cooled to room temperature, grind them to a very, very fine powder. Now in the same pan, I'm going to add just half a teaspoon of oil and I'm going to fry the ginger, the garlic and the dried red chilies. We're also going to add the medium-sized onion which we've just sliced. So fry all of this well in a little bit of oil till the onions turn to a lovely golden brown color. Now the frying of all these spices and roasting of the spices is a very key element in getting the right flavor for this shakuti. So fry it well. Now this is the fine powder. You have to make it into a very fine powder. Now, like I said, you can also use the Goan chilies that you get. Now I've transferred the fine powder to a bowl. Now once this onion, ginger, garlic and red chilies also come to room temperature, we're going to grind it to a very fine paste. Now I'm going to add another half teaspoon of oil and I'm going to fry the freshly grated coconut. So we're going to fry this till the coconut is nice and golden brown in color. Now I had soaked some tamarind in some hot water for about 5 to 10 minutes. And now we're just going to extract all the juice from the tamarind by just squeezing the tamarind this way. We're going to continue roasting or frying rather our freshly grated coconut. And I'm going to add this ground spice powder to this onion, red chili, ginger, garlic paste and again grind all of them together to a very, very smooth paste. Now I also have some coconut milk and that is the paste and that is the reserve water. That is once you take out the masala or the paste, you can just put some water in the mixer pot and wash it off. That is our reserve water. Now once our coconut has nicely cooled down to room temperature, we're going to grind it to a fine paste by adding very little water. So this is our paste. And now we're going to mix all three of them. That is, the coconut that we've ground to our other ground space. That is our shakuti masala ready. Now in a pan, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of oil and fry the small onion, which I've sliced. So like I said, that was the shakuti masala. So you can prepare it ahead of time and store it in your refrigerator and make this shakuti whenever you feel like. So this is I'm adding the slit green chilies. I'm also going to be adding this mixture of garam masala, haldi powder and red chili powder. And now we're going to add our shakuti masala. Now the most important thing is frying this masala very well, because we really want this flavor to, the real flavor of this masala to come out. So you have to fry this on a low to medium flame for at least 5 minutes. That's very key. So after frying this well, now we're going to add our chicken. And I'm going to fry the chicken in this masala also for at least another 5 minutes. So you come to know that the chicken is, nice and fried, because first it's a pink color. And as you keep frying it with the masala, you'll see that it changes to a white. And this is also very key to this recipe, that is when you fry the chicken well with the masala, it really, gets into the chicken and you can really taste the flavor of the masala. Now, after frying it well, I'm adding the reserve water. You can add, water as per your choice if you wanted a thinner gravy or a thicker gravy. Now I'm just adding some salt to taste and a little bit of sugar, a pinch of sugar. Mix everything together and I'm going to cover and simmer this for at least 5 to 10 minutes. So we want to simmer this well so it gets cooked well. Now after simmering it for about 5 to 10 minutes, you can see the lovely color of this masala and everything, and the entire home just is filled with this aroma of shakuti. So now I'm just going to be adding this coconut milk. Now, I will leave the instructions of how I extracted this coconut milk in my description box below. Now, there are two ways. One is that you take half a cup of grated coconut, fresh coconut, you grind it in your mixer, you keep adding a little bit of lukewarm water, and you start extracting the juice by squeezing out the juice. Now, adding the tamarind juice to this to the curry. So, like I said, you can extract that way. And another shortcut method is, okay, I'm adding a little chopped coriander and mixing it in well. The other shortcut method is you get this coconut milk powder, ready-made powder. So you just take some hot water, you add about 4-5 tablespoons of this coconut milk powder into it. You just stir it all together and your coconut milk is ready. So if you don't have the time to make it, the coconut milk, you can just use the shortcut method. And that's it, friends. After simmering it for another 5 to 7 minutes, our delicious Goan shakuti is all ready. This is my mom's recipe, and my mom used to make it I think on Sundays. And the best part about this shakuti is it tastes amazing the next day or even a day after. And I personally love to have it with some prawn balchao. I don't know how many of you like to have, meat curries the next morning for breakfast with prawn balchao. But I love doing that. You just dip, your prawn balchao, or as it's called, kadak balchao. You dip it into this lovely curry and you have it. It's just a different taste altogether. It is a super simple recipe. So now here I already have the shakuti going on. Now I've given you the shakuti recipe. It's super simple. It's my mom's recipe and it is the authentic Goan shakuti recipe. And now I'm just going to make an omelette, using, the normal omelette that we make with chilies and onions and everything. You can always make it the way you always make your omelette at home. I'm just showing you a simple way of making the omelette. And then we just assemble the lovely Arroz omelette, which is super, super delicious. So I'll show you how to make the omelette and then we'll assemble the Arroz omelette. How does this roast omelette look? Today's simple Goan cabbage Foogath. Now here I've taken one medium-sized cabbage, washed it really well, and I've soaked it in water for about 15 minutes, to which I added salt. After that again I rinsed it well. Now I'm going to take off the stalk and I'm going to cut it up into half. Now take off any little bit of brownish leaves that are there. And now I'm just going to cut around it like this, just turning the cabbage around with a very sharp knife. And don't use the white stalk part. So just keep turning the cabbage around and just keep cutting. And that way you'll get these nice thin shreds. And again, I'm going to go, once I finish with it, I'm going to again take my knife and just go over the leaves again and cut them up really, really thin. So don't use the white, thick, stocky part. Now this recipe is super simple. It gets ready within about hardly 8 minutes because cabbage cooks really fast. And it has very few ingredients, as you'll see. And this can be had with chapatis or even with some fish curry rice. It's really nice. And now after chopping up the cabbage, I'm going to transfer it to a bowl, and you can see if there are any big parts, just run your knife through them. And one more tip is always discard the outer covering of the cabbage leaves. However fresh they look, don't use those leaves. Anyway, let's go on to the recipe. So here I've heated about 1 tablespoon of oil. Once my oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds, which is also called mori or rye. Now let the mustard seeds splutter in the oil. I'm going to add 1 chopped green chili. They're cooking on a low to medium flame. Let the chili fry nicely in the oil. Then I've taken 1 inch of ginger, chopped it really fine. I'm going to add that. Let the ginger also fry in the oil. Next, I'm going to add a few curry leaves, say about 7 or 8 curry leaves. You can keep the curry leaves whole or you can even chop them. Then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder. And last, I'm going to add 1 medium-sized onion that I've cut fine. Now we're going to bagar everything or fry everything really well till the onion gets a nice and translucent. So we are done with all the ingredients. Now we just have to add our cabbage, which we've chopped. I've used the entire medium-sized cabbage. This is enough for 4 people. And then mix everything well. See that the bagar, coats all of the cabbage nicely. So you don't have any white parts of the cabbage, but everything is nicely covered with the yellow bagar. This is very important. Now, cabbage is one thing which cooks so fast because you can even eat cabbage raw. So, it doesn't take much time, and you shouldn't have a very mushy cabbage also. So just cover and cook this for about 5 minutes on a low to medium flame and keep stirring in between. And now we're just going to add some salt to taste, and I like to add a pinch of sugar. Now again mix everything well. See that the salt and the sugar coat everything really well. So our cabbage is almost cooked. So now I'm just going to keep it on an open flame and just stir it around. So we just have another 2 minutes of cooking this and we are almost done. So this is a super fast dish. So you can always, prep your cabbage, keep it cut in the refrigerator, and then when you're ready, just get get it done. So now I'm just going to cook this for 1 minute. And now I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of fresh grated coconut. Now you can go less on the coconut, but I like to add a lot of coconut to my cabbage. It just elevates the flavor. You can also add a little bit just for garnish. But I like to add a whole, 1/4 cup of nicely freshly grated coconut. And now mix everything well. The cabbage has to be mixed nicely with the coconut. And now we just have about half a minute of cooking, and then we're going to turn off the flame and your recipe is all ready. So you can have this, with nice chapatis, or you can have it as a side dish with some fish curry rice, or even with a meat curry rice, anything. It's just very, very nice and delicious and really refreshing and nice for the summer too. So I hope you like this recipe. To give it a try. I'll catch you in my next video. This is Akshata signing off. Bye guys. So friends, let's start with today's lovely Arroz Pulao. Now here I've washed and soaked 1 cup of basmati rice for 15 minutes. These are our whole spices. We're also going to use 1 medium onion, 1 medium tomato which I've chopped. We're also going to use 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste and 1 light green chili chopped fine, as well as half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder and 2 soup cubes or stock cubes. Now in a pan, I've heated about 1 tablespoon of ghee or clarified butter. Now we're going to add our whole spices, that is the peppercorns, the cinnamon and the cloves. Fry them a little, and then we're going to add our medium sized onion which I've chopped. We're going to fry the onion till it's nice and translucent. Now once our onion is done, this takes about half a minute or so, we're going to add our light green chili and fry the chili well. Now we're going to add our ginger garlic paste and fry the ginger garlic paste as well. Next goes in the tomato. Fry the tomato well. Now we're going to add our haldi powder or turmeric powder that gives a lovely light yellow color to the pulao, and we're going to add our soup cubes. Now mix everything well, and we're just going to cover and cook this for about a minute so everything comes together really nicely. Now after a minute, just give it a nice gentle stir. And now I've drained the water from the rice and I'm going to add this rice to the bagar. Now fry the rice well in the bagar for about half a minute. On a low to medium flame. Now I'll be adding about 1/4 cup of green peas, but this is completely optional, and I'm going to add 2 cups of hot water. So we've used 1 cup of rice, we're going to use 2 cups of hot water. So I'm going to add the green peas, mix it up well, and now I'm going to add the hot water. Mix everything nicely. Now we're not going to add any salt because the soup cubes already have the salt content. Now we're going to let our mixture come to a nice boil on a high flame. Once it comes to a boil, just lower the flame and cover and cook for about a minute or two, for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now all the water has evaporated, so just gently ruffle up the rice a bit, very lightly. And now I'm going to place a flat tawa on the flame and then keep this vessel on top of the tawa, cover it and cook it for another 2 to 3 minutes. This will, give us a very light pulao where the grains of rice are nice and separated and they're not mushy. So you can see our lovely pulao is ready and the grains of rice are nice and separated. So you don't have this mushy pulao, but you have very nice light pulao. And that's it friends, and our lovely Goan Arroz pulao or pilaf is ready. This goes excellently well with some shakuti. I'll link all my chicken recipes. Let's see today's amazing recipe of this very simple yet delicious loaf cake. Now here I have 3 eggs. This is some powdered sugar, some all-purpose flour or maida. This is some 3 tablespoons of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, some butter. Now all the ingredients along with their measurements will be given in the description box below. Now I've just lined my cake tin or my loaf tin with some baking paper. Now I'm going to mix all the wet ingredients together, that is the eggs, the milk and the vanilla essence. We're just going to whisk it lightly together and set it aside. Now I'm going to use a sieve and I'm going to mix in my dry ingredients, which is my all-purpose flour, my powdered sugar and my baking powder. Now when we sieve everything together, first of all, everything gets mixed evenly together. And also, if your powdered sugar has not completely got powdered, then all the sugar that has not got powdered will remain in the sieve. So this is also a very important step if you want a very even and really light and nice cake. Now I've also preheated my oven at this time to 180 degrees Celsius, and now I've taken my butter in a large mixing bowl and I'm going to whisk this butter. Now keep your butter at room temperature preferably, and we're going to beat this for a whole 5 minutes till the butter changes its color from a pale yellow to a pale white color, and also it has to be very light and smooth. So this is a very important step to make this loaf cake. You can see how the butter has now turned into a white color and it has become really soft and smooth. Now we're going to add just half of the wet ingredients, and we're going to whisk it in. Then we're going to add half of the dry ingredients and we're going to fold it in. Then we're going to repeat the process, add the remaining half of the wet ingredients and then all of the dry ingredients, and we're going to keep folding it in till it becomes into a very smooth batter. So fold it in well. This will make your cake very light and buttery and really to the right consistency if you follow these steps well. So now you can see that my batter is all ready. It's become nice and smooth. And now we're just going to pour it into the cake tin and then just smoothen it up on the top. Now don't forget that your oven has to be preheated. That's very important. And I just put a baking paper on the top too, because we are going to bake this for a long time, for at least 45 to 50 minutes. Now every oven is different, like I always say, so keep an eye on your oven, on your cake. Now I've taken out the top baking paper. You will get a little bit of a crack on this type of a cake. It's very normal, so don't fret. Now we just want to check whether our cake is done by inserting a knife. It has to come out completely clean. If it hasn't, then you have to put it back into the oven and bake it for some time. Now the cake has completely come to room temperature, so I'm just going to mold it and take off the baking paper. Let your cake completely cool. Don't be in a hurry to slice it when it's hot. Otherwise it's going to crumble and you won't get the perfect slices. And then I'm just going to take a serrated knife and I'm going to just cut it into thin slices. It's so soft and spongy and just, the right texture that I'm looking for. Now you can keep this at room temperature in a nice steel cake tin box, and it lasts for almost a week. Although it's so delicious, I'm sure you'll have to make it more than once. At least I had to make it more than once. It got over within 2 days because it's so delicious and so yummy. Today's lovely veg canapes recipe. So here I have 2 cups of water. We're going to bring the water to a boil. And here I've cut up a small potato, peeled it and cut it up into cubes. And this is 1 carrot. I've peeled the carrot and cut it into cubes. Now once the water starts to boil, I'm going to add the carrots and the potato, and we're just going to parboil it. That is just when it's just cooked. We don't want the potatoes to be overcooked, but just rightly cooked, so it still has a crunch. So now I'm going to add the cooked potatoes and carrots to a bowl. Next, I'm going to add one small capsicum that I've cut into very small cubes. Next goes in one small tomato. I've removed the pulp of the tomato and I've cut it up into small cubes. Next goes in one cubed cucumber. Now mix all of these ingredients well together. You could add French beans, corn, the choice is yours. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of pepper powder and some salt to taste. Mix everything really well together so that the salt and the pepper coats all of the other ingredients. Now I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of veg mayonnaise without any flavor in it. And mix all of this well together. Now you could add the garlic mayonnaise or the other flavored ones if you like, but I prefer it to have the plain flavor without any other extra flavoring. That really, it really tastes nice without all the other extra flavoring. But the choice is yours, of course, and whatever you have at hand you can use. So now mix all of this together well. So our filling is ready. Now I will leave a link to how to prepare pure veg canapes at home. I'll leave the recipe link down in the description box as well as the comment section. So I've already prepared the canapes in advance, and now all you have to do is just fill them with this filling. And one tip I like to give you here is keep the filling in the refrigerator, and when you're ready to serve, only then put the filling into the canapes. The filling should be nice and chill. And that's it, guys. Your canapes are all ready. It's a lovely snack or a starter, or just when you're hungry and want to have something light. So I hope you